sure your seatbelt is fastened.
Okay,
For
sorry.
any questions, press the call support button to speak with a rider support agent.
I'm here with Dayton and my wife Gail, and we are in the self-driving Waymo in San Francisco. They've been test driving these for months now. Dayton is a Silicon Valley tech entrepreneur who got on the wait list months ago and has recently been approved. So he's now an experienced Waymo passenger customer, and we're on our first trip. And so far, you've been with us the whole time, at least if you've been here with us since we started, and zero pedestrians have been run over, no accidents yet. So far, so good. It's a little bit freaky to watch the steering wheel turn itself. So we won't probably keep you here with us for the whole 19 minutes to our destination, but you can kind of see this is a Jaguar, and it's got kind of a glass ceiling. It would be a kind of a sunroof, but it's all covered with gear, so you can't actually enjoy that. But the gear is the self-driving car gear.
I've never tried the climate control. It feels chilly.
Oh yeah. Should we make it a little? I adjusted the seat temperature for the driver to 72 because clearly the driver was cold, and then there's the driver. But
so you can see here, obviously it knows where all the cars are. It has the people are these little blobs. Dogs come up as little blobs. They have a smaller kind of oval for bikes and stuff. On one of my other rides, there was a woman riding a scooter, not like a bird scooter, but like a handicapped scooter, and she was in the road going against traffic, but it saw her and it had the little small oval around her, and for the cars, they're kind of gray if they're not active, and then they turn more of a solid white if they're active. So this one is like all green, so it knows that car is moving. Still thinks it's moving. And I saw one guy, there it turned gray. So like as soon as he's like fully into the spot, it decides, okay, he's not going anywhere. And it's got all that. I don't know why the people close to us have that little highlighting, but the people across don't have the highlighting on them. It's got the cones.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, it even reads the cones and puts the cones on the map. So there are some safety traffic cones. That road is closed, and it's correctly reading that and drawing those on the little mappy thing there. It's interesting that you get to see some of what it's processing. It's not a totally black box. It's not entirely opaque. San Francisco is a little bit of an interesting place to be navigating because of all the hills. But the ride is smooth. Wouldn't you say the ride is smooth, guys?
Oh, yeah, very.
It's pretty human-esque in terms of the ride. And I suspect there are drivers that would want to drive faster, but I find myself thinking, as a new to San Francisco person, I would drive slower than this car drives. So
people on hills, bikes.
It's interesting that it's comfortable, but it's not racing around like a crazy person, but not so cautious that it would drive most. So the trolley just went by, which would be kind of a cool San Francisco moment, but we lost our connection just as it went by, so you missed it. It was very exciting. It might be the highlight of the whole Waymo ride.
Good
So
San Francisco experience, the trolley going by while you're in the self-driving car.
yeah, there's a guy on a bicycle. This is a pretty thrilling experience. It is signaling that it's making a turn, and it draws the turn on the map. We're just passing the Fairmount. There's the little trolley bus, not the trolley. That's a fake.
So now we're gonna go down.
Yeah.
What if some passenger leaves it a filthy mess? Does it know to go back to get cleaned up?
Duber, my co-founder, got off the wait list a few weeks before I did, and he said in between him getting off and me getting off, there was an email out to everyone saying that if you barf in the car, it's $50 for your first offense, and it goes up from there.
Oh wow.
So yes, people are using it as intended to get home when they're drunk, but then yes, they do leave it a mess.
I guess my question is, if somebody barfs in it, does it go pick up the next passenger before it goes back to get cleaned?
I think they have 3 cameras inside the car,
Oh,
so they
okay,
probably
can see it.
yeah.
They may or may not know, but if they don't, I imagine it's only one passenger.
Yeah.
Someone's going to report that. Did you take your rides? Have you had any scary moments in your Waymo rides?
No.
They're all boring like this.
They're all pretty smoothly boring. There was probably the most common hassle is when a truck has taken over a lane, and then people are anxious to get out of that lane. It's a little bit more polite than human drivers, so it ends up has a hard time merging back in.
Yeah.
But it does it pretty well, and yeah, it does it eventually, and it's never scary. Yeah, waits for a good gap. It once, when I was at a stoplight,
Mm-hmm.
it flashed that it was yielding to an emergency vehicle, even though there was not an emergency vehicle. So maybe after Cruise ran into a fire truck, they've dialed that up to be very sensitive to anything that might look like
Oh,
an emergency vehicle.
it's interesting. I hadn't heard about that. So Cruise ran into a fire truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Cruise has been suspended. They were famously the company that was doing the same testing, their self-driving cars here, and they all stopped, a bunch of them almost simultaneously. There was some sort of system overload, and some of them stopped in the middle of intersections, right?
Oh yeah, they've had a bunch of problems.
And so they've been suspended. That's the Cruise is the company owned by GM, and they're using Chevy Bolts. I don't think the Chevy Bolt driver, I'm a little bit embarrassed that their Chevy Bolts are doing things like parking in intersections spontaneously. So yeah, this is remarkably boring. This is a lot like being in the car with a quiet driver. This is our very quiet driver. He's just sitting here.
So do these run 24/7, or is there a point during the night where none of them are out?
They do. I think when they started, they were only going in the middle of the night, and they had to work up to get permission to run during the day.
Yeah, that's my recollection too.
You found lights.
Yeah, so we go. So, well, with that, I think we'll wrap it up here. But you've experienced our first experience in a self-driving car with us. Thanks for joining us. We'll look forward to chatting with you again sometime.